Alright guys, I'm back once again. Here to do a comparison of the Beretta 92 FS and the Springfield XD9. To start off, these are both 9mm. Pretty much goes to say you can get a Beretta at a 96 FS, and I think that's a 40 cal. I should have got one of those, but I wasn't thinking. This was my first pistol. First gun I ever bought was this one. I liked it a lot. I still like it a lot. I shoot really well with it. I shouldn't say really well. I shoot best with it out of my two pistols that I have. So these are both nice guns, both 9mm. There's a key difference. This is a hammer fire. This is striker fired. Which, if you don't know what that means, it means on the Beretta you have to have it cocked for it to fire. Well, you don't have to have it cocked. It's a single action, double action, but the hammer has to cock before it'll fire. And so with the single action here, I'll safety check this quick so I don't get any fucking crybabies. Alright, safe, no magazine, safe. Okay. So what that means, single action, double action, means that I can pick this up and I can pull the trigger and it'll cock the hammer. Or I can cock it and you see the trigger go back there? The trigger goes back and then the trigger pull is just a feather. I mean, I love it. So that's single action, double action. Single action is that. I always get them confused. Anyways, doesn't matter. Single action, double action. You can fire it either way. You can fire it cocked. You can fire it when it's not cocked. I haven't done a review of the Beretta yet because it's mine, and I can do that anytime. So you'll probably see one coming soon, which will, if you've seen the other couple of videos I've done, it'll just be a recap because I'm pretty much comparing it with this right now and all that hootenanny. You'll see all the differences and all the similarities. So that's one of the differences. That's the single action, double action, and this is striker fired, which means there is no external hammer on this one. Nothing really you can cock manually except for by racking the slide, which safety check, good. And so when I did that, this little dimple here pops out, and that's to show that the striker is in the cocked position and that it can fire. And so when you fire it, that goes away, and in the process, if you've got more than one round in it, then it'll blow back and it'll recock itself. Obviously that's what semi-autos do. So that's the big main difference of these guns. Well, not the main difference, probably the second main difference. The other difference is this one's a polymer frame. Basically it's a strong plastic, and it is light. I mean, that makes these things really light compared to the Beretta. The Beretta has a steel frame, steel slide. Pretty much everything in this bastard is steel, except for the frickin' guide rod. I don't understand that. Why couldn't they have just spent the extra $1 or $2 and put a steel guide rod in it? But that's just me nitpicking. The grips on this are plastic, so yeah, big fucking deal. They're grips. Ergonomics on both of these are very good. I like how this one's got the little notch for your thumb cut out in it on the XD9. So when you hold it, your thumb goes right into that spot, and it feels comfortable. The Beretta also is pretty good ergonomically. They've got some nice lines to the the grip here, and when you put your hand in it, it sinks in. It seems like to the highest point on the slide or on the gun, which gives you a more accurate or gives you more accuracy because you're looking and holding it higher up, whereas if you're holding it down here, I mean, you're not going to control that. You get your hand as high as you can in there without getting it pinched in the slide. which this has a nice little dovetail here that you can't really get it caught in there. I like the ergonomics of the Beretta better than the XD, but I'm also extremely biased considering when I first held this gun I fell in love with it. I mean, it's a sexy pistol. A lot of people are pissed off because this isn't an M9, but the Beretta M9 is basically the same thing as a Beretta 92 or 92 FS, and that is the current standard issue for the military, for the U.S. military. People were pissed that it replaced the 1911, which was a 45, and this is a 9. And I think the main reason is because it's got high cap magazines. I mean, you can fit 15, 16 rounds in this, whereas in a 1911 I think you only get about 8 and 1 in the chamber. I don't know. I don't have a 1911, but it is on my list to get. So people kind of got a sour taste of this pistol because it replaced such an iconic firearm for the U.S. military. But I gotta tell you, man, it's comfortable. It's big for a 9mm, it's heavy for a 9mm, but it's reliable. I mean, if you look at the slide, all that is cut out, so when it racks, you know, there's so much room for it to eject that spent casing that I have never had a failure in this firearm at all, and I have put a lot of rounds through it. I'm talking like probably 3,000 rounds through this guy. I mean, I used to take it to the range every weekend and put, you know, 100 or 200 rounds through it, and I mean, I put a lot of rounds through this thing, and I love it because it's never fired. It's never had a mistake. Yeah, so I can't really complain about it. This is like my workhorse. First gun I ever bought. I'm never gonna get rid of it. Never gonna trade it in. If somebody steals it, I'm gonna come after them and kill them. Probably not kill them. Probably just say, "Hey, you stole my gun. Can I have it back?" And they'll probably say no. But yeah, that's how life goes. So yeah, the other thing about the Beretta is it does have a safety. So you know, when it's cocked, you can't have it cocked and safe at the same time, but you can decock it, have it on safe mode, and when it's on safe mode, you pull the trigger all you want and nothing's going to happen. Because what it does is it rotates the firing pin down so that it's not, well, I guess that's what it does for the hammer. It falls down on nothing, but it rotates it down, and then it puts it out of place too, to where if you see up here, that pin comes up. And so I mean, it's inactive. I can't do anything with this when it's in safe. The Springfield XD has a lot of safety features, but it doesn't have an actual safety, which is fine. It's still a safe pistol. I mean, you gotta have that depressed, you gotta have that pulled down, and you gotta see that there's if it's, you know, cocked or not, the striker's cocked, and then it's got the indicator on the top, the loaded chamber indicator. So I mean, you really shouldn't have any problems carrying one of these things safely. It's, you know, there's so many different features. You could probably carry one in the pipe and never have an issue with it. I don't like carrying one in the pipe, but that's just me. Yeah. So another difference I found between the two is the ability to pull the slide back. Now, I'm not a very big guy. I've said it before. I'm like 150 pounds. I'm 5'9". So, you know, I don't have a whole lot of strength. And if I was in a situation where I needed to rack it, I mean, I could do it, but it's a little difficult. If my hands were sweaty, I mean, it'd be tough. The serrations on this thing are pretty deep and good. I like them, but deep and good. I sound like a dumb fuck. Anyways, I like them, but I always end up grabbing up towards the front, it seems like, on this one, which it does have serrations up there too, which is good, but I mean, it's a little stiff, and and to drop the slide is actually a little more difficult. I mean, it's not hard, but you have to put some force on your thumb, and you know, if you're not used to that, it's difficult for you to do. With the Beretta, when I first racked this thing, I mean, I can do it 2 fingers, no problem. On this, I can get it to cock, but I can't cycle around through it with 2 fingers. So I'm not a big fan of that. Pretty much a woman could rack the slide on this thing, and I'm pretty much a woman. But I like it. It's got serrations down here, which, I mean, they're a little too closely placed to where it's hard to get a good grip. But then you've got your safety here, which honestly that acts like a, I mean, you can rack it just like that. That looks sloppy and dangerous, so don't do that. But I mean, when I'm racking it, that's pretty much what I grab. I grab those serrations and I put my thumb on the safety, and I, you know, pull it back. So I like that about this, because it's, you know, it flows well. All in all, these are both beautiful pistols. I love them both. I'd shoot either one any day of the week. Ease of takedown though, Beretta's got it beat. I mean, I think this has pretty much every gun beat with the ease of takedown. It's right there with Glock, because all you have to do on this, there's a little button right there you push, and then on the front side there's a little lever here. You push that down, and the slide comes off. I mean, that's fucking easy. And it's the same thing as all the other guns, you know, spring, barrel, take them out, it's field stripped. So it is very easy, in my opinion, to field strip it. When you put it back together though, you do have to pull it back and do that, leave it in the open position, and then flip that back. Otherwise your spring will be sticking out and it looks gay, and it pisses you off. It took me like 2 tries to figure that out, because I'm a dummy. But yeah, if you didn't see the video I did for the Springfield, I'll show you how to take this down too, because I'm comparing them. Pull the slide back, make sure there's no magazines in them. I don't like having magazines and stuff when I'm disassembling them, because it causes problems. So get the slide in the locked position, lock back position. The lever here, that goes in the up, and then you can undo the slide, and then you pull the trigger because you fire it, and the slide comes off. And it's the same deal: recoil, spring, barrel, slide, field stripped. When you're putting it back together, it's basically just the opposite, only you don't have to dry fire it. You can dry fire these, it's not a big deal. People get pissed when you do in stores, so I always, you know, ask them if I can dry fire it, or if they have a snap cap and all that stuff. And even if it's my friends, I usually ask them if I can too, and if it's somebody else's, I definitely ask them, because you don't want to piss people off. I also don't like it when people go into a store and they rack it and they drop the hammer and drop the slide really hard on guns. I mean, it's not their gun, you know. Treat it with a little respect. Don't just go in there and, you know, start making a bunch of noise because you think you're awesome. Have respect for other people's property. I mean, it's not your property unless you actually purchased it. Then you can drop the slide as hard as you want. You can hammer drop that shit. I don't care what you do with your own guns, but respect other people's. All in all, you get a lot more with the XD. You get a holster. You get a magazine clip holder thingy-mabobber. See if I can grab it real quick. Yeah, get one of those. Put your sweet little magazines in. With the Beretta, you get the Beretta, the magazines, and a cleaning rod and a cleaning brush, and that's all. I mean, they don't give you a whole lot of shit, and you pay more for the Beretta than you do for the XD. But like I said, this was the gun. When I picked it up, I knew I wanted it, so I went with it. I love shooting it. It shoots, to me, just as well as the striker fired XD. I shoot better with it, but that's because I've used it a lot more. The XD I've never had any issues with. I've never seen it jam. I've never had it jam on me. So both of them are super reliable, and both of them are, well, the XD, I can't remember what he paid for it. I think he bought it for $5 25, but that was a while ago. The Beretta I got just at $600, which I think the price was kind of inflated because they were going to stop making them and all that jazz, and so they kind of bumped the price. But there was only one place in central Iowa that frickin' would have them, and so it was 15 minutes, or it was about a 30-minute drive from where I was, and I'm like, you know what? I might as well just spend the money instead of having it FFL'd and all that stuff. And so I went with the Beretta. Costs more, you get less with it, same reliability, it's heavier, it's hammer fired, it's got an actual safety, you can switch the magazine release from one side to the other side. It shows you how in the manual. The XD actually has an ambidextrous magazine release. I mean, that means it's on both sides, so you don't have to have it switched around. The XD is lighter. It fits just fine. It gives you more stuff, more accessories if you're into accessories. Generally, I don't like the accessories that are given anyways, because they're tailored to it, but they're cheaply made. So I would rather go and get like a nice Galco holster or something like that instead of the plastic ones that they give you. All in all, you know, this is also lighter than the Beretta. I've said that before. All in all, either one's a great 9mm pistol to own. I would love it if you just gave this to me. That'd be awesome. I would go out and I'd shoot it, and I would go to the range and I'd dual wield and probably get kicked out. But he's not going to give it to me, and I'm not going to go to the range and dual wield it. So on that note, I think I'm going to end this video because it's probably a little long, a little boring and redundant. And to end it on some redundancy, yeah, clean your workspace. Don't play with guns when you have glass present. Idiot me. See you later.